At least 68 people were killed in an Israeli airstrike on the Maghazi refugee camp in central Gaza. As Christmas celebrations take place around the world, Pope Francis says the Prince of Peace is once more rejected by the futile logic of war. Injured people and dead bodies arrive at a hospital in Gaza after an Israeli airstrike killed at least 68 people when it struck a residential area of the Maghazi refugee camp in central Gaza on Sunday, according to Palestinian health officials. At the same time in Rafah, dozens of people and emergency response workers search for survivors as they work between gutted apartment blocks after an Israeli strike hit a house in a refugee camp west of the city of Rafah on Gaza's border with Egypt. Israeli officials have confirmed that 15 soldiers have been killed in combat in Gaza over the weekend, whilst neighboring Egypt continues its efforts on a deal for a 2-week-long truce. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said earlier, "We have no choice but to continue fighting." Christmas Eve was reported to be one of the deadliest nights since the beginning of the war. A recap of Christmas round the world. Pope Francis presided over the Christmas Eve Mass, attended by about 6,500 people at St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican on Sunday. During the Mass, the Pope called to think of Palestine, Israel, and Ukraine who are suffering from war.
Il nostro cuore stasera è a Betlemme, dove ancora il principe della pace viene refutato dalla logica perdente della guerra, con il ruggire delle armi che anche oggi gli impedisce di trovare alloggio nel mondo.
In the city of Bethlehem, the occupied West Bank, scouts paraded with a Palestinian flag ahead of Christmas Eve. But the city's authorities earlier cancelled nearly all festivities in show of solidarity with the civilians of the Gaza Strip. Conductor Lukas Brhal and his orchestra played at the Prague main railway station in Czech Republic, where Christmas is sorrowed by the recent national mourning for the victims of the deadliest mass shooting in the country's modern history. Finally, in Athens, as a sign of hope and Christmas wishes, Greeks and tourists gathered in front of Athens City Hall, launching paper lanterns to the sky, wishing peace, love and happiness.
Ukraine will celebrate Christmas earlier than usual this year after President Volodymyr Zelensky signed a law changing the date of Christmas from the 7th of January to the 25th of December, moving away from Russian tradition. Meanwhile, Zelensky offered a message of hope in his Christmas address.
Сьогодні всі українці разом, всі ми зустрічаємо Різдво разом в одну дату, як одна велика родина, як одна нація, як одна єдина країна. І сьогодні, як ніколи, сильною буде наша спільна молитва, народна молитва, і лунатиме разом з Європою і світом.
Elsewhere, Ukrainians celebrate as best they can. In Odessa, a cathedral was decorated with Christmas trees and a nativity scene. Meanwhile, in Lviv, people take part in a Christmas Eve procession. Lviv residents bring out the traditional diaduk, a decoration that symbolizes sacrifice. A drone launched from Iran struck a chemical tanker in the Indian Ocean early on Saturday. The attack follows multiple assaults on commercial ships in the Red Sea recently by Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. They are targeting Western ships with links to Israel, but this appears to be the first attack on a commercial vessel outside of the Red Sea since the beginning of the Israel-Hamas war. The Pentagon said the tanker was Liberia-flagged, Japanese-owned and Netherlands operated. Iran denied involvement in Saturday's drone attack, saying the country doesn't have any proxy groups in the region. It also denied involvement in attacks against vessels in the Red Sea. The attacks on commercial ships have forced them to reroute. Delays on goods and rising prices are expected.
نباید به حساب گروه‌های نیابتی ایران گذاشت.